If you like Cyberpunk or LitRPG, please stick around as we cover Trinity Continuum Anima, a role-playing game set in the Trinity Continuum universe. This is a supplement to the Trinity Continuum core rulebook, in which you get to take on the roles of players of an online game in a dystopian future, and it uses the D10 system, which is known for the story path system. If you're familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, you might find this D10 system to be very similar to that, as well as Onyx Path did work on the Vampire the Masquerade as well as the Chronicles of Darkness games. Anima takes place in the world of 2084. This acts as a sequel to the Trinity Continuum Aberrant game, which was about superheroes before they go crazy, and it acts as a bit of a bridge between Aberrant and the game that I have yet to cover, Aeon, where you play as psychic warriors in the future. In the world of Anima, it is dystopic. The world has been trying to recover from the Aberrant War when all the Novas went crazy and started destroying the world and the planet. And in the aftermath, the United States was taken over by a combination of a military and corporate coup, now known as the Federated States of America, or the FSA. They are essentially an authoritarian government that controls most of the northern North American continent. In any case, we narrow our focus on Cascade, which is a futuristic city that combines alternate reality and VR, virtual reality, in order to create this sort of utopic looking city that is in fact a bleak dystopic city underneath. The alternate reality perception changes that occur make it so that the blank walls all look colorful and artistic, whereas underneath it is a brutalist, empty space of concrete, and mostly just technology trying to make it look as though the world is utopic in that sense. If you've watched the TV show Upload, there's a little bit of that in how people don't have cybernetic implants, but they do try to hide the fact that there are homeless people around by putting up camouflage tents that sort of match the surrounding urban environment so you don't realize they're there. Terra Surge is the biggest and most popular game during Anima. It is a medieval fantasy world where you can play a whole host of different character races that I'll get into later, but behind the scenes there are these AIs that are the narrators that dictate what happens in the game, such as player NPC interactions, as well as quest lines, and even like entire releases of the game. There's even one narrator who is dedicated to the secrets of the world, essentially. Other than that, what recently happened was there was a new expansion where an entity or enemy race known as the Jahat were added. They're basically these rock-like creatures, but people have been experiencing this weird stuff around them, such as not being able to log out of the game, and some people who have gone up against them acting completely different when they are found. There are three main factions when it comes to Anima. You have Aeon Covenant, who is the new version of the Aeon Society from Trinity Continuum Core. They sort of just continue going on, but changing the name slightly to keep up with the current naming convention. Then you have the Ghost Wolves, who are sort of a collective of hackers, similar to Anonymous. Essentially, Ghost Wolves aren't part of a singular group as much as a singular movement of people. So one Ghost Wolf might be associated with the Ghost Wolves and be doing something that's against another Ghost Wolf. And I've said Ghost Wolf too many times, so now it doesn't sound right. But in any case, the Ghost Wolves don't have like a singular mission. Their goal is basically anarchy or anti-establishment sentiments. Now, we do have the Optech Cyber Products company, which is the company that secretly invented the glass, but are known publicly as the people who make the best version of glass out there. They have a lot of inner cyber security stuff going on with like corporate espionage things. And so if you want to go the more corpo route, they're the type of company you want to do. There are also three other minor societies that I'm not really going to cover here, but I just wanted to bring them up. There's Project Proteus, the Transcendent Alliance, and also, scrolling up, IX Security. Because your player character is going into a digital world, they are not going to be able to use their character sheets in the same way that they would normally. Instead, they have to create what is known as an anima. This is your avatar within the digital world. You get to choose your culture, class, and guild paths, which are essentially your race and class from Dungeons and Dragons, with guild being sort of like your faction class, except it's really just your player faction class. So you might be a role-playing guild person, you might be a raid guild, or you might even be a PvP guild or a griefing guild. After that, those paths dictate what you can put into your different attributes and skills, and then give you your gear. Then if you have any extra bonuses, you can apply those as well. Now, the character sheet is very simple for an anima, but that doesn't mean the rules are simple. You do still have the same complexity as having like special abilities and different functions for your character. You sort of have like this secondary mini character who has a lot more going on when you're playing in Terra Surge. So of the fantasy races we do not have the stock standard races that you might find in other games. Instead, you have stuff like the Cherovians, who are aquatic people that look sort of like a mixture of humans and octopus or like fish people. Then you have your normal humans from fantasy games. You know what we're talking about here. Then you have the Kundari, who are, I would call them furry beasts that are desert dwellers. They are very much like your bears or dog-like people. And then you have the Quell, who are insect-like people who can control non-sapient creatures like insects and things like that, but also they are subterranean. Then you have the Sentients, who are these ghost-like beings that possess like anything that's humanoid, but can't actually possess humans as far as I know. They're mostly possessing like statues or like dolls or mannequins and things. And then you have the Vir, who are these bird-like people. Of the variety of class options you have, each one of the main classes is broken down into like 3 subclasses. You have things like the Boundless, who cover your medics, your scouts, your spies. You have Channelers, who do a lot of magic stuff with support, debuffs, and attacking. And then you have the Fearless, who are one of my favorites, who are the more like the melee attackers, or even range attackers to some extent, with attack and defense specialties. My favorite are the Red Blades, who have mercurial weapons, which allow them to switch between a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, because their weapon actually shifts into the other type. Then you have the Mages, who are doing like elementalists and illusions and mind controlling stuff. And then you have the Muses, which seem very similar to bards, in my opinion. You have sort of like these more social aspects to them, as well as debuffing and buffing your allies and things of that nature. How I'd suggest to run Anima is run it as sort of like a fighting the system type game. It's dystopic cyberpunk. You are fighting the system. You are disenfranchised, and you are not part of the upper echelons of society. And if you are, you're still not at the way top, and you're looked down upon by those who are. Now, if you're trying to incorporate Terra Surge into your plot lines, know that it's not just a game. It is connected to the servers of a big major megacorp. It is also a place where they do some social engineering experiments, as well as some neuroscience experiments. One of the examples they give in the book is maybe Terra Surge is being used to modify the memories of the players who play it. This is something that they could then use in real life. As far as the setting goes, remember this is a post-war society. They've been rebuilding, and this city is supposed to be the epitome of FSA technology and culture. I really like to go into the investigation aspect of this type of game. You have your runner type characters in cyberpunk settings who are doing jobs and things of that nature, but there's always that questioning of what's actually going on. And as far as the cyberpunk and LitRPG elements, there's a plethora of stuff that you can use. In particular, for cyberpunk, you have the cybernetic implants that you can all get. I remember my character, when I played this initially, had a lot of these electro tattoo things to make them a little bit more sociable with. And then for the LitRPG elements, you have the Jahat, which are an interesting aspect of doing the thing of, well, the game doesn't let you log out. it might even have stuff about mind control and possession if you look deeper into it, though I don't want to spoil too much on that subject. A big thing about how I would run Anima is I want to make sure my players have every chance to play whatever covenant they want, because I want to give them the freedom to choose. However, I will say I really like Ghost Wolves, and I am pretty biased against like for them. But in any case, if players want to play Aeon Covenant or even the Optech Company, they can definitely do that. I've been trying to get people to join me for an Anima game for a long time, and for an actual play of it, but it's kind of been hard to get schedules put together. But my pitch was essentially that it was going to be the open beta of the Jahat expansion. Essentially, the players would find out that one of their friends who is in the closed beta has gone missing, and they need to track down and figure out what happened to this person. The hope is that this could be a one-shot that sort of explores the settings, background, and a little bit more about how Terra Surge works, as well as the underlying secrets of the setting being slowly drip-fed to the players. And if the players really wanted to continue on the game, I could, by expanding on what else is going on in Terra Surge and giving them avenues of exploration. If I'm going to recommend a single actual play that you should check out, it would have to be the Trinity Continuum Anima game, Saga of the Goat, that I did for Onyx PathCon back in 2023. There have been a lot of other Anima-based actual plays on Onyx Path's channel. You can easily find them, but I'll put links to them down below. Really like the world so much, I want to play more! Thank you so much for getting this far. If you liked the game and you want to check it out, I have an affiliate link down below in the description. Also, please click the like button, because that'll help you find players, because more people will find this video, and then more people will start playing this game because it's so good. In any case, I've been the Awkward GM Corbin. I'm going to have something right here for you to click on if